and welcome to the SmackDown Preview. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WhatCulture, joined by another darling Michael Sidgwick from WhatCulture to look ahead to tonight's episode of Friday Night SmackDown. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review SmackDown, but also Raw, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week complete with a big quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Michael Sidgwick to look ahead to Friday Night SmackDown. Bit of a tradition, that.
Yeah, no, I gathered.
Because, of course,
I didn't think it was for my benefit. Of course, what?
SmackDown is cinema. So
it's a television show.
And so much more. We've obviously been out of the loop with wacky summer being as it is. I haven't really had a chance to talk to you much about what happened at SummerSlam, but let's talk about the big thing.
CM Punk and Drew McIntyre stunk.
Disagree, but we're not here to talk about that.
Good.
We are here to talk about Roman Reigns. The tribal chief returned at SummerSlam.
Incorrect.
He kicked the race.
He's the original tribal chief.
The OTC. And I am the OTJ. I'm not sure you've been made aware of this, have you?
Original total Jagov.
One true journalist. Brian, behind the brilliant SmackDown Photoshop, knocked that up for me in like 2 minutes. It was amazing. Get that on the t-shirts. But, yeah, your thoughts on Roman Reigns being back and the whole bloodline saga.
Well, they did it. It took them 10 years.
Yep.
It took them 10 years. A decade. But they did it. Do you know what? Let's talk about 10 years.
Okay.
We'll fill some time. Because there's not that much announced for the show. And I will talk earnestly about Roman Reigns. I'm just doing a bit here.
Hey, this is what the SmackDown preview is all about, is tangent. So let's go.
10 years, right? Okay. 10 years. In 10 years between, let's go with, just for one, 1992 and 2002. It's a 10-year gap, correct?
Correct.
In 1992, yes, he was on the way out, but Hulk Hogan was still full-time with WWF headlining WrestleMania 8 against Sid Justice. 10 years after that, he'd been to WCW, during which time WWE said, oh, he's too old, the huckster. And then, he's not old actually, dickheads, he's immortal. Idiots. And then he comes back and does his nostalgia run.
Yeah. Wins the world title.
And it's like, it's nostalgia and it's very fleeting and it's brief. So 10 years is the distance between Hogan's, the tail end of his drawing prime, and his nostalgia run. That's 10 years. 10 years.
I'm not being rude. I'm going to see if I can find what I was doing in 2014.
Okay, and I'll tell you what I was doing in 2014 as well. 10 years is the distance between 1992 and 2002. We'll do that again. During that time frame, NWA Eastern Championship Wrestling exists, but Extreme Championship Wrestling does not exist in 1992. By 2002, Extreme Championship Wrestling has been closed down for a year. That's 10 years. Think of how much change has unfolded in the ECW era and how much it influenced and how much it changed everything. 10 years is the distance between my ages of 8 and 18. 10 years and they finally get a bit megastar babyface out of Roman Reigns. It's preposterous when you consider especially how long it took them to try. Yes, he was a heel, a mega drawing heel, and, you know, whatever you make of the run, whether you think it's just too many monologues and too many ref bumps or what, they almost categorically positioned Roman Reigns, the mega heel, as sort of in the conversation for WWE Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Like, he's probably not Austin Rock, Hogan, but definitely the Cena level. Like, he's in and around everything. What were you doing in 2014?
I feel bad that I should look that up because I looked at it and then suddenly went, oh yeah, I probably should have just had that off the top of my head. 10 years ago, pretty much to the day is when me and Anne-Louise started going out. So in that time, we have dated, moved to a new city for my job, got engaged, got married, and tomorrow at time of recording, because we're recording this on Thursday, is my son's first birthday. That's how much my life has changed.
Yeah.
Bought a house as well, all that sort of stuff. I was, 10 years ago, I was just a man about town. You know,
I don't know, tell me.
Eligible bachelor on the streets of Birmingham. And now, sorry, ladies.
2014, I had no children.
What job are you doing in 2014?
In 2014, I was in what's called the rec game.
Okay.
Recs. Reconciliations.
Ah.
So basically what it is you can't share, like, maybe you can now, I don't think so. You because I did administration at an investment management firm, and you cannot have the same data held by the companies that distribute shares,
Yes.
and funds and all the rest of it. So you don't know what's on their register. You only know what's on your internal database, some of which is just like, I think it's what's on there.
Ah, okay.
So if you're getting like things transferred or paid in or what, it's like, it's not guesswork because you get the statements and then you thing it up, but there's mistakes happen. So at times, at the end of the month, what you think you have shares wise, stock wise, in a certain company compared to what you actually have versus what you're pretty sure you have, there's differences. So it was my job to resolution, it was called. Right, basically my job was who's f***ed up where and how, and how do we fix it? It was,
Which
I think I did well to grasp. I was so bad in my first 2 years. Like I didn't get, it was like learning a new language. Like I was never really, it's not maths necessarily. It's more problem solving than maths, but it's to do with like shares and stuff. It's not what I was ever good at. I just kind of, someone got me a job there and I just did it, and I was quite lazy, and but it was weird because like I started off doing the actual inputs and making all the mistakes that the team that I eventually joined had to fix.
he's made all these. Oh, it's me.
Yeah, it's me. So I did a bit of that, and that's what I was doing in 2014. A job that I was not really suited to do. I think I did well to be okay at it eventually, but it was weird because like you get like a tiny amount of power going to your head. Where it's like, I've identified this, fix it. It's like that kind of atmosphere. There's some lovely people who work there, but that kind of atmosphere and those, you get like a really horrible like glimpse into people and the psyches and the way people tick, because like when you go up the levels of, I've got not power, like I wasn't managing people, but like you do have you kind of messed up here, can you go fix it please? Then you go up and up and up and up and up, and you just get a glimpse into what people are like when they can tell other people what to do. It's like, oh God, it's no wonder the way I am, really. But 2014, so I was doing that. I was not a father, and I'm now. In 2014, I wasn't a father. Now I am the father of a boy who is closer to being an adult than a baby.
Jacked.
Well, like he's halfway between being. He's at that halfway point because he's like 9.
That's mad, isn't it?
He's jacked as well.
Yeah, we should mention that.
There's such a thing as a jacked baby.
I don't know.
Eric, is he looking soft? He's got that like Rick Rude 1989 thing going on.
He's got that potential. He has got a surprisingly...
From her side, obviously.
Yeah, surprisingly strong grip if you like try and take a spoon or something off him. He's like, nah, it's going nowhere. Yeah, he doesn't mess about, that boy. Get me a little my first gym set and then fine.
Yeah.
Just looking back there, it was also funny because I've got this thing of like, was in commercial radio obviously back then, and it is funny to be like 10 years, what a time that is. And I look
Single radio Wilbourn. What does that look like?
I'll show you in a second. I look at some of these and I'm like, yeah, I don't like these, because they were like pop stars at the time. And the amount of pictures I could show you here, and you'd be like, I don't know who that is. Like, tell me when to stop, and I'll pick one of these pictures.
Stop.
Right, even I don't know who that is. I can't remember. Not a clue. Right. There's a few like bigger celebrities, but a lot of these are like, hey, remember this boy band from 2014?
No.
I think they were called Rixton, if I'm not mistaken. And there's just the amount of like X Factor. Well, didn't win, but you did well. And then
We'll have a chat after this.
Okay, your eyes lit up there.
Yeah, I'll own talk. I really prefer not to speak.
It must be coming big trouble.
Done that again, you know.
Has he?
Already, I think they got... Is it Fenerbahce?
Yeah,
it's Jose Mourinho.
Yeah.
He's managing Fenerbahce, and I think they got knocked out of the Champions League qualifiers. He was like, I can't speak about this. It's like, maybe you didn't get screwed. Maybe you just finished.
Yeah, maybe
Jose.
You've kind of fallen off there. It's a real trip down memory lane there. You might be able to get this one. He's a X Factor.
Mers!
Ollie
Mers.
Is correct.
What was he like?
He's lovely. He's very well media trained, basically.
Yeah.
That's a cool one with someone.
So you call him a fake bitch?
No. Well, no.
I don't know.
Two Adams. One more excited to see the other one there.
Who's that?
That's Calvin Harris.
Ah. He looks like he can't be asked with you at all.
That's basically every pop star. And 3, 2, 1, smile. Oh, you can't even be asked. Okay, fair enough. And that's probably the most famous.
Not Miley Cyrus?
That's Miley Cyrus, yeah. That was what Wilbourn was up to in 2014. There you
were
go.
up in Miley Cyrus?
Definitely not. Terrified. Her manager just was... Normally, they just sort of leave you in a little room and they'll be listening in or whatever, but they won't interfere too much. I had like a list of rules I got sent beforehand of like, do not ask about this. I'm like, okay, it's a West Midlands radio station. We ain't going to be like, hey, what do you think about this crucial issue in the world? Despite that, her manager was like, I'll be standing in the room whilst you interview her. So I ended up talking about donkeys at the seaside with her. So... Of
course you did. Of course you did.
So if Brian wants to knock up me, Sidge, and Miley Cyrus riding the donkeys at Skeggy.
Hey! Don't let us tell you.
No,
you, Brian.
You be led. So yes, Roman Reigns, babyface.
Led by donkey.
Indeed. Roman Reigns, huge babyface reaction, obviously, to him at SummerSlam, involving himself in the match with Solo Sikoa and Cody Rhodes, of course, and then subsequently on last week's SmackDown, just kicking ass. It looks like we're heading to Bloodline versus Bloodline 2.0 at Survivor Series, one would assume.
Yes, absolutely. Interesting this. That match it'll be funny. I'll tell you what, right? I'm going to do the facetious thing and I'm going to do the earnest thing. I know I've just done the tangent, facetious, urgent.
Okay.
So order we're going to do things right. So I've done the tangent. Here's the facetious. Like, these will not be allowed to blink without certain stands interpreting it as some kind of facial expression or body language, right? It's going... if this all comes to pass and it's, the new Bloodline versus some kind of super team comprised of like Roman Reigns, the Usos, Sami and Kevin...
Oh my God.
Maybe like 5 if they get...
Maybe Cody.
Cody could be in it.
Oh my
I mean, to be
God.
fair to Levesque and Paul Heyman, was it Paul Heyman? There's so much continuity and history and interpersonal relationships that you need to keep tending to. Like all those little interactions between Jey Uso and Sami Zayn. Like, Tony Khan could do was doing some more of that, in my opinion. If that all comes to pass, 4-on-4 or 5-on-5, depending on whether they get Hikuleo in or whatever, they will not be allowed to blink or look waywardly at something or other without some stands interpreting their every move and every expression. We are going out, if nothing else, if it's not for you, the SmackDown stuff, this cinema stuff, this Bloodline stuff, you'll get some Schadenfreude. You'll get some great posts out of this. Like, he's looking at the, what's it called again?
Ulafala.
Ulafala. That means he wants to be the tribal chief, and you know that the Ulafala corrupts you and all the rest of it. I'm not being funny. I'm trying to be, obviously.
Yeah.
Tongaloa now.
Tongaloa.
Right. Sometimes he might just switch off and just stare into the distance, and it's like, what's going through his mind? Solo Sikoa was saying something, and that seemed to stop Tongaloa in his tracks, and maybe he's getting introspective or thinking, no, he's just daydreaming because he's a bit hopeless.
Oh, the bit where it's like Tama handed him the Ulafala that had fallen in the ring. And everyone's like, does he want to get his hands on it? No, probably didn't want to faff around with Solo reaching into the ring to get it.
Yeah.
So they just thought to pass it to him.
Can you imagine Tongaloa being like the tribal chief?
Oh my God.
You know
That
what
would
I mean?
You know how much...
He's the next chief, actually, so put some, acknowledge him.
If you my love for the Bloodline story, that would be the moment where I go, I think that's it.
Yeah, I think we're out. It's like putting friggin' Vincent at the head of the NWO. Brian Adams headlining, I don't know, Spring
What
Stampede.
they've done to my boy.
So they're going to see a lot of that. Right, the Ernest bit, we've done the preamble. It took them 10 years, but he's enormous already. People always, I think everyone was unanimous, which makes it ridiculous that it never happened, or at least it took them a decade for it to happen, of clearly the guy's got something, explosive powerhouse. He's actually a really good working babyface.
Yeah.
Just to be a good babyface, you kind of need the fans to be behind you. It was explosive. He could really sell, I think, Roman. But everyone just knew why he was getting pushed, the extent to which he was going to get pushed, whether you weren't ready for it or not, all of these things. But everyone always thought, just everyone... I'm not saying Vince McMahon was bad at his job, but everyone in the friggin' world except him had an idea for how to get Roman Reigns over. Roman Reigns had the idea of how to get over. Roman Reigns takes a sabbatical, uses his star power leverage to do what is needed to get over and turn heel. And then guess what happens?
Yeah.
He gets over to an absolutely incredible, transformative level. And literally everyone except Vince McMahon knew what to do.
Yeah, more so.
I'm saying that's a pretty poor genius in my book.
More so than winning big titles, more so than winning WrestleMania main events, more so than beating The Undertaker at WrestleMania. The answer was staring you in the face. And it wasn't just, because sometimes it's a bit lazy. People just go, turn him heel. It's like, no. Just try. Look at what got him popular in the Shield in the first place.
And, it's your demeanor. And it's absolute 101. Heels are cooler. They're more fun.
They did the Bloodline briefly as babyfaces years ago, if you remember, when it was just everyone likes the Usos, so let's stick him with Roman Reigns and see if that kind of rubs off on him.
It's just the most insane trajectory. I've missed a bit as well.
Yeah.
So here we go. Everyone knows 2014, right? He's cocky. Probably a bit too good looking, if anything. That drives resentment.
Yeah, the contact.
That was so weird and genuinely ugly, and they should have got more stick, more crap than they got at the time. Trying to everyone knows what they were doing then. It's 2014. Everyone knows, right? It's a bit cocky, too handsome, if anything. He doesn't feel like he's earned it. Use those qualities, that essence, turn him heel. He might discover the sort of swagger, wit, and edge that people gravitate. I mean, it was obvious. Nah, we'll just push him down your throats in the babyface role. Right, are you sure, Vince? Because there are, say there's 10 million WWE fans. 999,999 think he should go heel. Nah, not doing it. Right, okay. Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics does this incredible deep dive where he charts the decline in viewership throughout the years in WWE, spots a trend. This is all his work. Brandon Thurston, WrestleNomics. It's on a slow decline. More than one factor, obviously, the cable TV viewership at large, blah, 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 blah. Royal Rumble 2015. It's like, all right, okay, there's a significant drop there.
A year on from people wanting to win it, by the way.
Yeah, from a not insignificant drop, which you can basically attribute to, I mean, it's not the performer, it's the booking and the mega push and all the rest of it. And then what happens? This is all pretty indirect, and maybe you might say conspiratorial, but I don't think so. Is that WWE becomes increasingly unpopular with Roman on top and these desperate attempts to push him and make him, that you eventually kind of create the conditions for AEW. So Vince creates his own competition, loses a bit of market share, doesn't matter now, obviously, by not listening to everybody else in the world. And then everyone else in the world still has the same opinion. He eventually gets kind of pushed into it by Roman Reigns. And then AEW,
yeah,
and then WWE. Couldn't have been more of an idiot. And that's not obviously the worst thing about Vince McMahon.
No, indeed.
Right. The prophecy has been fulfilled. He is turned heel. He is significantly more comfortable in the role. One of my favorite WWE images or sights of the last however many years. Roman in the tracksuit.
Oh my God.
He looks like $1 million. He looks like he's the king. He's got this unbelievably cruel sense of comic timing. He's got these incredibly smug facial expressions. His range of facials is absolutely magnificent in this heel rule because he's allowed to be more of himself.
You can have fun with it when Jay's corpsing half the time.
Yeah, he can have fun with it. He can be menacing. He's got that look when he's like shutting people down. He's like, oh, come on, you cannot step to me and all the rest of it. Guess who said he was like this backstage during his babyface years? Every wrestler and all of his peers who wanted him to turn heel as well. I remember, so it's 2019, Roman comes back after he's all clear of leukemia, thank Christ as well. But as much as fans are a lot more sort of forgiving of the performer, as well they should have been and all the rest of it, it's still not clicking. It's dog food era, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, by the time we got to him and Drew,
it was already gone.
So weird that I was just like, I should be wanting to stay and see him win this. And I was like, I might use this as an opportunity to go and get a drink or something.
Shocking,
because it's just, there's nothing. And it's Drew and Roman. Looking back now, it's insane.
It's insane. So all of that's going on. It's like, oh, it's a shame. Sorry, that'd be... Graveyard Dogs, Hamlet were goated, but that was the one pretty much good thing he did in 2019.
Yeah.
It's like Doppelganger Eric Rowan, dog food. Remember that on the Tron? Yeah? It's the worst crap ever. The worst crap ever.
Fought Corbin for about 6 months, it felt like.
So bear in mind, that this is the context. All of this is going on. All of this is going on, you think. Roman Reigns, he's not cool. He's not cool. And then I can't, maybe dig it up. I don't think you'll find it because it'll be buried behind reams and reams of pages on Google's algorithm at this point. Fairly certain, Chris Jericho's doing the media rounds. Le Champion, he's on top of the world. He's everyone wants to hear from him. He's getting interviewed, and the same questions, get asked. One of which is, if you could have anyone for AEW, who would it be? Chris Jericho goes Roman Reigns. He's the coolest guy in the world, and you would never, ever know it in a million years. I'd love to get him here to shows. I just double check. If you can't find it, it's fine. I would just like to think that I haven't made this up in my head. Just Google something like Chris Jericho wants Roman Reigns in AEW.
Chris Jericho eyeing this WWE main event for AEW.
What year was this posted?
This was June of 2020. He was in an interview with WhatCulture.com's Adam Wilbourn, it turns out, who asked him who the company might go for in the future. And he said, I'd put Roman Reigns at the top of that wish list for anybody. Not only is he a great worker, but he's such a cool guy. If they let him be the biggest star in the industry for real, that's the guy I'd love to get my hands on for sure. Great question and a great answer.
Great question, great answer. So what's that, June 2020?
Yeah.
He's not in the mix, is he, Roman? Because he's gone home.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gone home and he's nowhere near, he's 2-3 months away from becoming the actual Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm. Saving SummerSlam.
I don't think it was just Chris Jericho. I think Mox has said it before. He is the coolest guy. He's really witty. He comes off in the locker room as basically the tribal freaking chief. But there was no tribal chief yet, so no one was to know. Everyone knew. And just the way he's carried himself, it's he's really funny as well, Roman. I was like, what the hell are you doing? You can't step to me. That Roman has always existed. They coaxed out of him. And if anything, right, I know he's always had his fans. That's probably true of the babyface days. If he's not selling any merchandise, they might rethink. He's kind of always had fans, probably drowned out. If anything, he nailed the role so well. And I think he's better. The first year, the Tribal Chief was very serious and monologue-y. He still had that menace. But it's when he got the swagger about a year or two in. I'm honestly shocked that the clamour for babyface Roman Reigns didn't begin earlier than it did. I think it's a testament to it's so crap how you can't say storytelling without instantly trying to get defensive and thinking, not like that. It's the fundamental thing of the freaking business. I think it's a testament to the storytelling that fans were we really like him, but we also love Cody and we love Sammy and we love Drew for a bit. So we'll just go along with the script as it's playing out for once this friggin' century. So he's always poised to do this, just in any other alternate universe in which Vince goes away earlier. In terms of what he does, he doesn't really have to tweak his personality now. He's already kind of Big Banter Roman. Just has to be less of a gaslighting prick. Do they have to square that off? I don't think so.
I think it's a bit like Jay. He has to make amends. I think because Hamlet's obviously, him and I have talked in great detail about how you get to, like you say, the original bloodline reuniting, but all as baby faces. And think of the work that Jey Uso had to do when he went to Raw, where people were like, why should I be nice to you? Just because you got kicked out of the bloodline doesn't negate the fact that you tried to kill me and your brother and what have you. So I like the fact that he has to do that even with just the Usos. No, why should I forgive you? So it's going to be a really interesting road to wherever we're heading.
Interesting wrinkle, because you make a great point. It makes perfect sense. They did it with Jay. One thing about Roman is that increasingly we saw at WrestleMania 39, he's got sway. He's got a lot of political pull. He kind of likes to be on top. Is he going to... I mean, this is the story. They should be careful with it. You can't just have him as the sort of apologetic, nice guy, obviously, because that's not what the appeal of the character is, the wrestler is. But he's sat under the rock, in terms of learning trees. If he's got the rock as his primary influence in wrestling, which he probably does, how quick is he to show ass and show that vulnerability and be owning up to his past mistakes? It's just interesting politically how far he'll allow himself to be taken on that kind of Jey Uso-esque path for forgiveness. That's an interesting political wrinkle, as is that it's sort of that Austin Rock, Cody Roman thing now. Who's on top? Who gets the biggest cheers? Who runs with it? Because the difference is I'm not religious, but God willing, the thing with Rock and Austin is that it all came to a head in 2001 and informed the build for Mania You know, they made the decision to turn Austin heel, and it didn't work out at all. No. Business plummeted. But they kind of missed each other because by the time Austin went down with an injury in late 1999, like Rock was just undeniable. Like he turned chicken into chicken salad. So in that 1999, he'd worked with Billy Gunn and British Bulldog, and he was still completely over as hell.
Yeah.
And then by the time he's just like, they gave him literal dog crap. Like in the case of British Bulldog, they gave him Billy Gunn, and he was still just this incandescent baby face. And then couldn't, like, for him, like Austin going down with a neck injury, it's like, well, I can go on there. And by the time Austin comes back, so there was no real answer to that question of if they were both healthy throughout all of 2000, what happens then?
Yeah.
It's a pretty intriguing what if scenario. And now we've got a very similar one. If they can both stay healthy, politically, what happens? Do they now look at Cody as, right, we finished the story that built up a load of equity and goodwill with the audience, because now we can prove ourselves capable of both telling and finishing stories and making them happy as long as they stay the course? Do they now think, I mean, Cody's a massive draw, though, but like the Roman things, they can't coexist in the same spot at the same time.
I was saying this the other day. I was like, what does Roman do at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Because if you ask me right now, I think the two WrestleMania main events are, well, Gunther in one, maybe against CM Punk. But Gunther, he's going to be the world champion there. And obviously Rock versus Cody Rhodes. And then arguably you could say, and then the WrestleMania after that, you can do the Rock versus Roman. That's a hell of a run of WrestleManias you've got, obviously. But then, okay, you're doing that. What are you doing with Roman at WrestleMania?
I know.
He's not going to be fighting for the, nothing against the IC or the US title, but that's not him anymore.
No, of course it's not. He'll never touch that again. If he touches those titles again, something's gone badly wrong.
Is it Solo? Is it now arguably Jacob Fatu?
It's just funny because I don't think that's big enough for Roman's ego. I really don't. I know it's just the family and stuff. I don't think it's big enough for his ego. It's just fascinating because, like, with what's happening now is we were there and it was amazing, that Rock-Cody interaction. And obviously from WrestleMania Night 1, they've built the idea of doing Rock versus Cody. And at the time, it was very much, well, Rock-Cody is much bigger than Cody-Roman. That was the conversation that was bubbling up ahead of WrestleMania weekend this year. And then on the Raw after WrestleMania, Cody literally could not be hotter. He's literally just finished a story. He survived a political hatchet job from The Rock. He couldn't be any bigger, and The Rock's gone, well, I'm working with him. They set up, I beat you, and I'll see you when I'm back. They've basically told you on the Raw after WrestleMania, it's the main event for WrestleMania 41. In the meantime, much of this is overstated in the bubble that is social media, and it is a bubble. It is... that, Cody, this Kevin Owens thing really, has his reign been that great? Yes, it has. The match quality's been there. The business is there. But if this trend continues and Roman gets so hot as a babyface, does The Rock go, maybe I've gone a little bit early in terms of my next plan. I'm fascinated as much politically. Well, let's face it, I'm way more fascinated about the political ramifications of all of this going on than the television, but Roman's good television as well.
Roman and Seth, you also set up at WrestleMania. Roman and CM Punk.
I mean, you've got lots of options here. You've got lots of options. But what I was getting at as well, before I trailed off and went on a tangent, now that they've done
Roman
the story... Now that they've finished the story and he's won the actual main WWE title, with Roman back and that babyface locked to the same, we've done it now. You can't say we didn't do it with Cody. You go to that A- slot under the A slot and go for that World Heavyweight title. What does that do for Cody's ego? Because he's like, I'm kind of did all of this. Really, I know Cody. It's just fascinating politically. I think the Solo and hopefully he's not too injured, Jacob Fatu stuff, I don't see either of those for WrestleMania. I'm infinitely interested in one more match than the other. It's Jacob Fatu. But I can't see either of them at Mania. I really can't. I don't think it's big enough for Roman's ego.
No.
And maybe that's correct. Triple threat? Don't know.
What do you think they do? Because Roman's back now. He's obviously been on last week's show. He's going to be on tonight's show as well. And he's butting heads already, like I say, with Solo Sikoa, and he destroyed Tongaloa with the chair last week. Do you do a match with him in Berlin?
Sorry, say I trailed off.
Do you do Roman?
As soon as you start talking about SmackDown on the SmackDown preview, last week's SmackDown, I went, what?
Do you do Roman Reigns work in Berlin? Or is that too soon? Do you want to wait for...
It's not a case of do I think it's going to happen. Like Roman Reigns. Didn't he stop doing a Saudi one even earlier this year?
Maybe.
Like
it was one of those ones where it was like, what's the point? What are we doing here? Because
he doesn't really do these little shows.
How big's the Uber Arena?
I don't think he does it. I do not think he does it. I think they've got the 2 title matches. I think
like 17K.
It's, yeah. I think they do the 2 title matches that they've already promoted. It's not in the Levesque playbook or the political interests of Roman Reigns to put him on at Bash in Berlin. Just, I'd be kind of like stunned if Roman wrestles at this show. I doubt he will. He just doesn't do him. Doesn't do him. And I've mentioned this before. I think this 5-match B-level PLE model, some people laugh at it. Some people who try and, I mean, I do it accurately. Some people bury WWE for kind of like the wrong things. And that annoys me. There's ways you can bury it still. Just don't, be bad faith or lazy about it. You can still get them. And I'll get them. I think it's a good idea. You don't want to oversaturate. You don't want to kill off interest. You don't want to give people too much. And Levesque certainly doesn't give them too much on these B levels. So, yeah, I don't think Roman does it then.
You've got 3 matches confirmed so far.
Yeah, he's not wrestling Basham. But he could. I've been holding my hands up a decent amount on these pods recently, but yeah, I can't say.
I would assume doing the tournament right now with the tag titles and with LA Knights, a US championship. I think maybe at least one of those will go on it, if not the usual gimmick of the SmackDown before. But yeah, Gunther, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and the Terror Twins versus Street Trash is, well, whatever.
Terror Twins.
That's what it says here. I think that's more of a...
like a fan sort of...
I think so.
Yeah. Updated, make it accurate.
But yeah, you've got a fair bit of time.
Wikipedia.
It's August 15th, 16th right now. Bash in Berlin, August 31st.
Oh, there's no chance he's doing it.
None. The next day, the day after, I know you're thinking, well, what are we going to do after Bash in Berlin? Well, that would be NXT. Oh, no. Merci. What a weekend that is going to be in the Wilbourn household. Bash in Berlin, no merci.
Oh my God, I just realised how far ahead or behind us. It's like an hour max, isn't it, to us?
Yeah.
Germany, what is it? Check it.
Hey Siri, what time is it in Germany right now? They're an hour ahead. She's keeping quiet. But.
An hour ahead. What time do these shows typically start? 7 or 8?
Yeah. So probably at 9 p.m. start, maybe for us. No, all the way around. Yeah,
8 p.m. start.
Could be a dream that.
Because that's one of them's in bed by then. One of them's in bed. If I do the younger bedtime, James will actually. I'll just make him watch it. Like, watch this. No one watch it. Go to bed, actually, pal.
Anything's better than
you get leverage because usually you just give in. What do you want to watch? I'd rather watch this. All right, okay, well, I've got a reasoned argument of I've been at work all day. Trade offer. I've been at work all day. All right. Here's a tantrum for the ages. All right, okay, you win.
Yeah.
You get I'm telling give you fatherhood advice.
Yeah.
On the spot. What you'll find is, like during the day, they win, you lose. When they're a certain age, right? They win, you lose. Their activities, you could drag them to things. you can try and make them watch something, but they'll just ask questions, say they're bored, ask for their own thing, and you just give up, right? When they're a certain age, they get such, we call them cheapies in Newcastle, cheap thrills, like a bit of like, excitement about staying up late, that I watched the Food Network with my oldest.
Did you?
Well,
amazing.
Like most nights. I need to catch up with this wrestling match, which you wouldn't usually during the day. Or like Food Network, or like Frances watches like Race Around the World, like a thing that she likes but is childish friendly.
I have a weird flashback there to being like allowed to stay up and watch the news and thinking like, this is big time.
Yeah, it's like something like it's just your parents.
I think it's 9 o'clock as well back then,
because they know that, right? Well, staying up to do, like, in their heads, I don't know what's wrong with them. Like, sleep's amazing.
Yeah, it's goated.
But like in their heads, like doing anything past bedtime's automatically goated. We talk about the rules, and rules are rules.
Yeah, but
rules are rules. Where anything backstage at wrestling shows usually goated. There's no banter in the past. That's a rule.
Yeah.
Another
be born earlier.
Be born earlier, or else you don't get it. A kid's rule is staying up and doing literally anything is goated, as long as you get to stay up. So this is an incredibly long-winded way of saying, I think I'm going to watch Bash at the Berlin.
Yes,
Bret Hart, Bash at the Berlin. I'll probably get to watch that live.
Yeah, I hope so. Can't wait for that. Speaking
Saturday
of
or Sunday, is it?
That must be Saturday. If normally I'll see the day after.
Oh, of course. What am I thinking? God, I'll never forget when No Mercy's on.
It's at the Ball Arena.
We've got 2 arenas to do as well.
Yeah, the Das Uber Arena.
So what's that?
Boober Arena.
Yeah, tits.
Yeah. And then, what was the other one I said? Ball Arena. Sorry, I just got distracted.
Oh, we've already done Cock and Ball Torture Arena.
I've also realised that Survivor Series is at the Rogers Arena, so...
Don't hump. We're on YouTube. I momentarily forgot that we were on YouTube then. Don't hump. Don't hump.
Know what you're thinking? Where's Halloween? Make you feel any kind of way?
That gives me the creeps.
Yeah.
Any kind of way.
It's at the Giant Centre. So, I mean, we are going to be eating well in the weeks leading up to that. You can put giant cack, giant tits.
Giant tits! The Giant Tits Arena, right?
But...
Would you go there?
I'll probably have to.
For work.
But at Bash in Berlin, I'm going to get around to this. Kevin Owens is now the #1 contender. Cody Rhodes basically said, Solo, you don't deserve a rematch. Kevin Owens does. Kevin Owens was like, nah, I shouldn't have a rematch. And then Logan Paul was like, was it Logan Paul? Someone last week said, I should probably have a title shot if anything. It wasn't Logan Paul. Maybe Austin Theory or someone like that. And he went, well, before you give anyone else a title shot, I'll be having that. Thank you very much. I've got an interesting question because, like I say, it's only a few weeks away. And there's this obviously friendship that has developed through Cody and Kevin Owens.
I've got takes on this, so ask away.
But I'm also got one eye on the fact that presumably you're getting Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes down the road, which will be a best friend betraying. We can all see it coming. So do you do the same thing here? What story do you tell with Owens and Rhodes?
So I've got takes on all of this.
And also, do you think Kevin Owens beats Grayson Waller on tonight's episode of SmackDown?
Yes, I do. So that's that part of the preview covered off good. Right.
Check.
Check. I miss you, Kenny. When you come back, don't team with Ibushi against the Young Bucks again.
Yeah, no.
I know just be a big match player. You don't even need the Young Bucks around for a while, maybe. I love the Young Bucks, but, maybe some separation would do you both the world of good. Yeah, this thing with Kevin Owens and Cody, I saw some controversy about it. And guess what? I don't just bury WWE for the sake of it. I'm going to be nice here. It's contrived in that I think this exists for Cody to be the nicest guy in the world, Kevin Owens. I'll give you a title shot. Easy. I think more sense will be made of this when the Cody Randy stuff happens, so that if he's a little bit more reluctant to hand out the title shot or doesn't automatically give him it or whatever, Randy will go, You did it for Kevin. Why not me? Or even some kind. It's designed to contrast. I think this Cody Kevin Owens stuff is designed to contrast in some way with however the Cody Randy story plays out. It's meant to, you're meant to think of one thing, and Randy, I think, this exists for the other thing. It's a long-winded way of saying it. So I don't hate it in that regard because it's forward-thinking and all the rest of it. Now, the problem that I don't want to be a Dave bashing podcast, but I disagree with him here, so I'm going to outright say it. He said that he thinks it's so bizarre and so weird that the babyface, that you should always want a championship, no matter which way you get it, whether you earn it or whether you're asked to do it and say, yeah, go ahead. He found it weird that Kevin Owens, the character, wouldn't just want the title shot immediately. I disagree with that. I think it's it's a bit different, but I think from a babyface point of view, especially Kevin Owens, who's like the one guy in WWE who like knows how it works and kind of hates it. And he's a very logic-driven guy, Kevin Owens, and he's baffled by a lot of things that go on. He's the one character where it's like, yeah, this is weird.
Yeah.
No.
And you buy him being humble.
Yeah, exactly.
And being like, you know what, my win-loss record doesn't support this.
Yeah. So it's a bit odd, but I think it's fine as a characteristic. Now, I don't know what Dave said at the time, but I recall the shudder, especially with it being Derby. But in AEW last year, Double or Nothing, they did that 4 Pillars tournament. That there was like buys and weird finishes to get to the Pillars match at Double or Nothing. And it was like, oh, Darby gets a bye, and it was between Jack Perry and Sammy Guevara. And it was like, oh, Darby gets a bye. And he went, woohoo! That's not Darby Allin. It's absolutely not Darby Allin at all, nor is it a babyface. So I always thought like celebrating a bye was weird. So applying that logic to this Kevin Owens stuff, I think it's absolutely fine. Like, you wouldn't want a babyface going, yeah, it sounds great. See you there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, without even having to work for it. Yeah, fantastic.
It's a bit unwieldy and a bit contrived because I think it exists for another thing, but I think it's fine.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how it plays out as well in the coming weeks in the build-up to Bash in Berlin.
How many times? Sorry, I'm going to... Sorry.
Sorry.
My queen. Sorry, my queen. How many times, right, do we, or I in particular, like talk about, all right, this FUED, this program is just starting. And then you think, right, okay, well, you're probably going to lose the first. It's just an example. You'll lose the first match, and you'll win the first match by maybe stealing one, and then I'm using Willow Nightingale and Statlander as an example here. So it's like I could kind of see how it was all going to go on end. So Willow wins the first one by like skin of her teeth. Didn't steal one, but it's not a definitive, I've just kicked your ass. So you leave scope for the rematch. And then you know, right, well, Statlander's winning the next one by cheating, and then they'll have a third. It's not just that storyline, it's many where it's like, yeah, that's where it's going to go. We'll probably take this step and or this step to get there. I don't know what happens here at all. Cody and Kevin. Good point. So I kind of complain about this. Why would I? I think it's quite interesting.
Also on tonight's show, we have Naomi versus Blair Davenport.
Oh, it's gonna. I reckon, right? If there's, where are we at?
Oh, for the arena?
Yeah.
That's a great question, and I will look that up whilst talking about the fact that Naomi has just recently sided, of course, with the former tag team champions, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
Against the team now of Blair Davenport and the Unholy Union, a team that I have dubbed the Blair Witch Project.
It's really catchy, that. It's like those words just seem to belong together.
Indeed.
Right. So you'll find out the name of this arena. I'm wondering about the conditions of...
Sorry. There's a show going on at the Burton Cummings Theatre in Winnipeg. Winnipeg Pro Wrestling Rumble in the Burt. Thank you to WrestleTix for that information.
So I worry about the maintenance of this building. I worry about like the sanitary conditions of this building, whichever building it is, and whatever the name of the building is.
It's August 16th, the Kia Center in Orlando, Florida. 12,000 tickets distributed already.
Kias.
Kia.
Kia. So the what?
Kia, like
voyeur stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Kia, fancy a quickie, my dear. I don't know. It's very hard, this one. It's very, I know it would last ages, if anything, so I don't even know what a quickie is. So I'm worried about the conditions, you know. Like the majority of arenas that I've been to in the States have been quite like really well maintained. Like obviously MSG is not going to be a crap hole. Barclays Center, really nice. The MGM Grand, I mean that's the Ritz and Dazzle of Vegas. That's not going to be disgusting. I'm sure there's not all in the best of nick, you know. Like I was worried about the conditions and how sanitary it is, and maybe, you know, if there's like it's so dirty and run down,
Infestation
of like rodents, and you know, if there is some rodent activity in the Kia Center, and there's some rodents there, and you hear, you know, one of them just, we need to go to the toilet. I think when Naomi wrestles Blair Davenport, you're gonna be able to hear a rat piss on cotton. Okay? Because, oh my God, they've done next step absolutely bop kiss to get Blair Davenport over.
Yeah.
And Naomi's not set the ring on fire.
No.
I think this match is going to be pretty mediocre.
I don't get it.
Deathly silent.
And we're not getting a result either. 100% there's interference. Alba Fire, Ladorn.
You're a red piss on cotton. I look forward this new bit that I've just done to make it a convoluted as way imaginable. You're in support of this.
I like it.
As convoluted a route to that bit as possible. I'm going to work at it.
One final question to ask you, Sid.
What if there's one that's close? I'm writing this down.
Yeah,
I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to do two at once.
One where there will be deafening amounts of noise is the final thing we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Queen Nia herself.
We're running bloody late on this.
A brilliant title win over Bayley at SummerSlam with help from the Princess Tiffany Stratton. Who is
the last thing we're talking about?
Yeah, who is hosting Queen Nia's championship celebration? I've got a feeling, Sidge,
she's gonna get a pink crown.
Ooh, maybe, but I've got a feeling someone's going to try and ruin this. I don't think this is going to be the moment that Tiffany cashes in. Maybe it's. Do you think they just do Bayley crashes this and says, "I'm having my rematch at Berlin," because it's again the Europe love for Bayley could be exemplified on.
I would exploit that.
Yeah. She crashes it, and Tiffany's like pissed off because she's ruined it, but also there's the implication of like, Tiffany's also eyeing up Nia now. Now she's the champion, because we all know where this is going.
Just go with that. We've talked quite often, quite long enough. But my contribution to this question that you just asked is pink crown.
God, I can't.
Or pink. It's a title celebration.
It's Queen Nia's championship celebration hosted by Tiffany Stratton.
So she's still a queen, but it's more important that she's a champion now. That's more important title.
Yeah.
Pink strap to belt.
Oh, that's some good stuff.
And then, like, I'm not being facetious here, because Nia, who's got a good eye roll on her. Remember this?
Yeah.
When she kept doing that.
I love the fact she's given Tiffany this pink briefcase with the like strap as well. I think it's class.
Sort of pink. So it's like Nia can go, I guess, and Tiffany can go.
I love it already.
But then it's like, dumb bitch. The reason why it's pink is because it kind of belongs to me. And we're foreshadowing it.
Yeah, and then Bayley's terrible theme will hit to interrupt.
I'll never know what it sounds like, and I heard it.
Yeah. We were there.
Twice, because she won.
Yeah. Well, let us know your thoughts.
I always skip the entrances when I catch up on SmackDown. I don't know WWE programming.
Let us know your thoughts ahead of SmackDown either in the comment section below or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Right, so you can follow both of us. Follow Michael Sidgwick at
Sidgwick.
Follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE, and make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling wherever you get your podcasts from for daily wrestling podcasts. But for now, this has been the SmackDown preview. My thanks to Michael Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.